My name is Tobias Lindholm. I'm the writer and director of the investigation. In many ways, the investigation is a classic police show. It's a story that follows the investigation of a murder that happened in Copenhagen in 2017, and in details follow the police work to investigate and find the truth about what happened. In that, we have two storylines. One storyline follows the police work, all the experts, all the divers, everybody who helped on the investigation. The other layer to that is the friendship and the relationship that our main character, the chief of homicide in Copenhagen, Jens Møller, had with the parents of the journalist Kim Wall.
Jag vet inte hur vi skulle ha klarat det här utan dig.
I remember when Kim Wall was reported missing, it was covered widely, both in the press in Denmark, but also in media internationally. I was introduced to Chief of Homicide Jens Møller, who told me about a lot of his work, but also about his work on this case. And the story he told me was never covered in the press. It was a story about human beings who sacrificed themselves, human beings who never gave up, humans who did what they could to help others. Young divers who spent months in darker and colder waters. It was a story about Swedish dogs that can sniff dead bodies underwater. Scientists who figured out how the scent would travel in the current in these specific oceans. And suddenly, all the darkness of the story that was reported in the days after was for me transformed into a story about human will and a system that worked. People who stood together, creating some sort of order in the chaos. And that became the starting point for me.
Då får hälsa alla och tacka så mycket för hjälpen.
Without Jens Møller and Ingrid and Joachim Wall, there would be no the investigation. Ingrid and Joachim were and are some of the strongest people I've ever met. They also gave me their version of their reality in all of this. They shared willingly everything with me in the idea of making a story that would celebrate all of the people who helped them through the darkness.
Det började med att någon la en sten och sen så blev det till ett hjärta till Kim. Det blev fler och fler och då...
My idea was to copy that heart in another beach somewhere and film it. But Ingrid and Joachim insisted that we would film by the right heart. Because they wanted all of the people that had placed small stones and rocks there to know how much it meant to them. It humbled both me and the rest of the film crew a lot to have that opportunity. In the episode 1, when we lift the submarine from the bottom of the ocean, we film it very close to the right location, and we film it on the crane ship that actually lifted the real submarine, with the real crew that lifted the submarine back then. And by doing that, it's not only a gimmick, but by doing that we had all the logic of what actually happened back then, and therefore we could go even closer to the reality we wanted to portray. The divers are played by the real divers who actually worked this case. The Swedish dogs are playing the Swedish dogs. Ingrid and Joachim's dog Iso plays Iso in the TV series. So we have tried to surround ourselves with as many experts as we could. The story we are telling is a story about humanity, about sacrifice, about friendship, about people reaching out, about people who find each other in the darkest hours and walk towards the light together.